So I just tried.
How's it going?
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Joby Boughey here from the OVERit podcast. Today, just myself and Chris Soltara will be talking, and we'll do more interviews next week. But this is going to be a nice, relaxed chat. We've got lots of topics we'd like to cover, and we'll let the conversation flow, and hopefully we'll give you some value about how we can get through this time, give you information on just all different subjects, and I'm sure Chris will have a lot of knowledge and wisdom to share as we go through as well. So Chris, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us again. It's great to have you on as always. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Chris, for those of you listening who don't know you, and then we'll get the conversation started.
Cool. Hey everyone, how's it going? Joby, great to be back on the show with you and talk to you again. We have endless conversations about endless things. There doesn't seem to be a day that we're not firing information backwards and forwards to each other about random stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you. My name is Chris Soltara. I'm based down in Bournemouth in England. And yeah, we're having a great time during this coronavirus. We're doing a lot of artistic stuff, a lot of spiritual development, a lot of wellness and empowerment, coaching people and having a really nice time, playing musical instruments, writing music. And yeah, that's what I've been up to. And yeah, basically we just want to talk about a whole bunch of subjects today. We are always firing different theories and concepts and philosophies and teachings, from shamanism to what's happening with the media, what's happening with the coronavirus, all the way through to spiritual development, confidence, empowerment, plant medicines and stuff like that. So that will be the general topic of today, and we always look forward to talking about stuff like this. So yeah.
Absolutely, I'm excited. So let's kick it off. Tell us a little bit about, let's maybe start with your music, Chris. How does that influence you with your development? Does it help you in any way? Because music for me is whenever I feel down and think, put a bit of music on, and that's me. So maybe we could jump in with your music and
yeah, music. The way that I see music, I've been a musician for 20 years, and I've been playing in bars and pubs and clubs. And then I moved up into weddings, and then I moved even higher and did corporate events. And then I realized during a gig that we had so much power. Musicians have so much power, and we can stand in front of 4 people, can stand in front of 80,000 people and make them all dance. And that is a power, right? You underestimate the power of music. And music for me is vibration and your intention behind creating the best positive music you can, and what your intention is. If it's to get people to dance, then you write the music. If it's to get people to feel inspired or move them emotionally so they can feel something, you always know when your piece of music hits you and you well up and you start feeling emotional. That's how powerful it is. So we've just been writing really beautiful, what we feel are beautiful pieces of music, and collaborating with artists, emailing people drum tracks and ukulele tracks and having people singing on them and drumming on them. And it's been really amazing. Just sending that vibration out into the universe and creating positive music. It's been amazing. What about you, Joby? I know that you do some drumming tracks, and I just know you've done a guided meditation as well. Like, how is it for you?
yeah, it's been good. For me, drumming is one of my favorite things. If I'm feeling a little bit anxious or down anyway, I can have a nice drum journey. And sometimes I can get lost. I can be drumming for a couple of hours. Sometimes I can be drumming for just 20 minutes. But it's definitely a tool that has helped me in so way. Because when I meditate and you're drumming at the same time, it takes you into all different places and different journeys. And especially with doing the shaman work that we do, the drum it's like the heartbeat, the earth, and everything. So the drum literally resonates with your heart, and you open up your heart, and all different things happen. So yeah, for me, drumming is really cool, and I absolutely love it. I highly recommend anyone, if you haven't got your own drum, just put a drum track, like a drum journey on from YouTube. Sit there, meditate, let the drums take you into wherever you want to go. But yeah, it's very highly recommended. And yeah, I did just record a breathing exercise yesterday, which was just an intro. It's about 30 odd minutes long. Just an intro to breathing. I could have taken it a lot deeper, as we do. We normally go 45 minutes to an hour when we're doing our breathing exercises. And when breathing for me is so important, especially for people with anxiety, with depression. You know, you can use it before meditation, yoga, whatever, for exercise. It just literally, you're putting more oxygen into your brain, so you're getting more clarity. You can think clearer. You can process things a lot quicker when you've got oxygen going to your brain, and it gets the blood flowing around, removes all of your toxins, and it's an amazing technique to learn. So, and you can use it in your everyday life. You can just be sitting there doing your breathing exercises, and people wouldn't even know you're doing stuff. So it's a great way, and it's good for your stomach. It's good for your vibration as well, which you're touching on with the music. So it all correlates together, definitely with the vibrational energy that we're in right now. If we can lift our vibrational energy up and take us to feeling good, and you know, that anxiety that we might be suffering through this time now, you know, people are really in this fear state at the moment because of what's going on, the unknown, how long is this going to last for, what we're going to do, money, jobs, all these different worries are going around through people's heads at the moment. And music for me and the breathing is definitely two aspects that I use every day. I know there's a few more that we can add on, and maybe we can touch on that as we go through. But what other aspects are you using, Chris, for your vibrational and energy and to feel good through this time?
I've spent 5 years kind of like conditioning my lifestyle to be quite healthy. So we juice in the morning religiously. We have a green smoothie, or we have a fresh juice.
Lovely.
We have all of our vegetables delivered from an organic farm because we didn't want to have the plastic from the supermarkets. So we found an organic farm, and they're all over the country. And then most of them deliver at this time because that's how they make a living. And we have a yoga mat permanently out. We have an altar where we sit and do meditation. And so to keep the vibration high, to keep it's like lots and lots and lots of different things that you've tightened areas of your life. And we make sure that we only speak loving words to each other because words are powerful. We give each other a break. So half the day I'm on my own, half the day I'm with Dina. So we don't have a go at each other. Like we don't give each other a hard time. Like it's as simple as these little kind of like micro adjustments. But as far as vibration, food, the elements, we touched on the elements, making sure you're getting enough sunlight and water, and making sure that you're putting your feet on the earth every day, especially when it's raining. It's amazing. And just kind of sunlight, water, air, breathing. It sounds really elementary, but it is elementary. It's the 4 elements. And if you can get all 4 elements in flushing through your body as much as possible, then you'll always kind of like be raising your vibration, so to speak. But if you're always on a device, or you're smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol in excessive amounts, you're pulling yourself away from those primordial original energies. But listening to great music, be feeling empowered, listening to motivational speakers. The internet has millions and millions and millions of videos that we can watch, and we're all at home on the internet doing various different things, but we just listen to like affirmations all day. If you haven't checked out, I'm gonna put a link in the description of this video for anyone who's interested in affirmations, because I've been listening and creating my own affirmations for years, like recording my own affirmations and listening to them. But there's one we've come across on the internet that is very, very good, and it's a Louise Hay affirmation. It's 1 hour, and if you listen to this affirmation for a couple of months, just an hour a day for a couple of months, it will completely change your life. It is the most incredible affirmation that I've ever listened to.
Really well. Yeah, you definitely got to send me the link for that for sure.
It covers every aspect of of experience. It goes through relationships, it goes through money, it goes through self-worth, it goes through your inner child, it goes through trauma, it goes through your employability, how much wages you make in a job. It goes through the whole spectrum of what we're experiencing. And yeah, listen to this on repeat. I'll put it in the link of the description. It's really good.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you very much.
What are you doing any exercise at the moment? Are you doing any fitness or anything?
Yeah, so what I'm doing like I've sort of invented my own sort of like yoga size. Bit of yoga and exercise in between. So I'll do some yoga poses, then I'll go into some press ups, some squats. But then while I'm in the squats, I'll be holding a yoga pose, and then I'll move in, and then just really getting myself moving and breathing. I'm waking up in the morning doing lots of dancing and just getting my body moving as soon as I'm waking up. And as I'm doing my movements, I'm doing my affirmations. So, yeah, so when you move and you're doing your affirmations, as you know, Chris, but for those of you listening to this, when you're doing your affirmations and you move, you embody them into you.
Yeah, you're moving the energy around your body while you're embodying.
You might have blockages that have been built up, and if you can get them blockages moving, and just ecstatic dance, like doesn't matter, don't care who's watching, just be free and let the music flow. And that's just why music's so important as well. And I'm glad we started on that point.
Yeah.
If you've got the right music on and you've got your body moving, all of a sudden you're going to lift your energy up. You're going to feel good. Your mood's going to change. And all of a sudden, if you've got a good morning routine and you're getting up, you're juicing, you're exercising, you're doing whatever it is you need to do, the rest of your day is going to be impacted and it's going to be empowered.
Yeah. The morning routine is almost the most important part.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love waking up. First thing I do is I'm grateful. Thank you. Say some prayers and call in my guides to protect me for the day. Then I'm clear that way as well. And then it's just a matter of getting up. First thing, music's on, and just a bit of sunlight. Undo your blinds as well when you wake up. You know, let some light into your room because you've been in darkness all night. Like, let that light come through and just really start feeling good. Affirmation, writing things down. Once I've done that, then I'll have a journal. How fit today. Always, if you are feeling down a little bit, write it down because you're getting that energy out of you and you're channeling it, and then you'll become aware of them feelings. And when you get them feelings coming up, you know how to change them, especially when you put the breathing into it. The breathing then you can change your state in seconds. Like, once you know how to do it, might take a couple of minutes first of all, but then you can build it, and then all of a sudden you can change your state in seconds once you've been doing it for a while. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's kind of like you change your mental state and your emotional state. They kind of, if you're in a stagnant situation, you just scramble your brain almost and choose your state of being of what you want to be. If you want to be super enthusiastic and powerful and passionate and yes, but then you can also bring it all the way down to a state of relaxation. But you kind of pick where your level's at instead of allowing the world to dictate how you feel, and like a pinball machine. You just kind of like hold true to your state of being, and it's a really powerful thing. I never knew was possible for most of my life. Having a spiritual experience, you kind of come to the realization that you're 100% in control of everything, and there is no controller to be in the control of it. But you can choose to be super happy in a room full of depressed people. You can choose to be really happy and grateful standing in the rain. Like, who knew that was a thing?
Yeah, it's quite funny. I was speaking to someone yesterday and I was like, I'm going for a walk in the rain, and it was pouring down. And I was like, why do you want to go out in that? Because I want to go and jump in puddles.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fun.
Like the inner child.
Yeah, big time. She's like, I just want to go out and just jump in puddles. I was like, that's brilliant.
Because when you're already wet, you don't care about getting wetter.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is, rain, actually, if you use water, is cleansing. So if you're feeling any emotional blockages or anything. And if it's raining, just ask the water to cleanse and clear the mind, the body, soul, and the spirit. And out, water's an amazing thing. So
Yeah,
I started having like meditations in the shower as well. So when I'm in the shower, I'm doing a cleansing meditation. So I'm washing off all of my worries, illnesses, pain, old traumas, whatever it may be, because we store layers and layers and layers for years, and even our ancestral baggage is on us. So even though we don't know it, you know, so I'm just cleansing, and just when I'm in the shower, just washing, shit away, and just go down the plug hole. See ya. Give it a little wave. Bye.
Absolutely right. And it's just that mental energy of you, I'm cleaning a part of me, I'm cleaning a part of me. And also I developed this many years ago, which is every time I went to the bathroom to do the toilet, I focus my mind on while I'm peeing, and I say, I allow all toxins to leave my body.
Yeah.
And I just tell my body, I allow all toxins to leave my body. And also I say the same thing when I'm on the toilet, because it's like my body, not just, I don't know, there's something therapeutic about that process when you're just emptying.
Yeah.
And it can be a very spiritual experience going to the toilet. Who knew that was
we can take this down on a whole different line.
We all do it. Everyone does it.
Yeah, absolutely. Inhale the good shit, exhale the bad shit.
It's so true.
That's good. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing. Maybe, I know we spoke about this the other day, we was going to do this on our healing circle. Maybe this might be a good topic for everyone as well, like relationships. Obviously now at the time, people were in their houses, stuck together. You briefly mentioned it a minute ago, like you have like half a day apart and then you'll go and do your own thing. What advice can we give to people listening to this that might be, you know, it's getting on top of people, being like around each other like all day, because normally we're off at work and we're doing our own thing, and then we come home, it's just in the evenings we're together. So anything we'd like to touch on that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a state of reaction and you're in a state of unconsciousness, then being in a closed confinement can be very difficult. And I can imagine, I empathize with a lot of people out there who are having experiences of maybe even domestic abuse and having quite a difficult, hostile environment. If you haven't resolved emotional or mental blockages, then there's a possibility that you are living in a house with a dad who doesn't understand you or a mom who doesn't appreciate you. And my advice for relationships, and what I found during my experience, is that the more you love and accept yourself for who you are, the less issues you find with other people. The issues that you're finding with others are reflections of the issues you haven't resolved within yourself. So if you have any issues with any human, it's because there is an unresolved part of your state of being that is becoming agitated through the other person's behavior. So keep it super amicable. The less you say, the more harmonious your relationship is. The less you speak, the more harmonious your relationship is. That doesn't mean being silent and ignoring people. It just means not reacting verbally to people's behaviors and just accepting them for who they are. And it's at this time on earth at the moment, a lot of people are learning acceptance. Acceptance is happening right now on a mass global scale because we were all told to go into our homes and there was no question, and the police will be monitoring the streets, and people had to accept that they were closing their businesses, like locking the door and going into their homes. And that took a lot of acceptance by humanity. So this is the momentum of what's happening with the coronavirus. Relationships from now on will be more harmonious in general on earth. We now know that the Chinese, the French, everyone is the same. There is no debate that we're all just one species. So relationships will now, hopefully, as a result of what's happening, become more connective, become more, the communication a lot more kind of like unified as a result of it. But for anyone who's suffering out there with communication issues, with relationships, the best thing you do is do work on yourself. Anytime you do work on yourself, all aspects of your life will improve. Communication will improve, your health will improve, your finances will improve, your communication will, everything will improve as a result of knowing who it is that you are as a being. And that's the best advice that you could, because it relates to every human being on this planet. It relates to every human on the planet. And the more comfortable within yourself and the more you've contemplated who you are as a being, as an entity, as a consciousness, and you've really gone to those final stages of your illusionary character, and you know that nothing matters, and you've kind of transcended that kind of like worry and concern, then relationships become a lot simpler. You love and appreciate everyone that you see as an expression of beautiful expression of whatever the divine is, and then you just have to respect them, even if they're a bit societal, like a bit crazy or a bit out there, or a bit this or a bit that. You don't have the label or the judgment to judge them. So you just look at everyone as perfect, or perfect expressions of one thing.
Love that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I just explained so easily. I'm sure many people will be able to just grasp that and go, do you know what? I get that. Like,
yeah, I mean, the idea of being spiritual 6 years ago was zero for me. I was stuck in my mind. And my emotions were so tense, full of anger and resentment and jealousy. And through doing spiritual development and transcending all of those things, you come to understand, once you've transcended them all, it's easy to explain to people. It's easy to tell someone you're not your thoughts. You're not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just an aspect of the experience. But you're the observer who sits patiently and very silently behind your thoughts, and you can entertain the thoughts, speak them if you want to speak them, but don't listen to them all, because some of them are very limiting for us as beings, as entities. They're like the nurgling voice at the back of your head that tells you.
Why does the brain do that? Like, comes out with the most random thoughts sometimes, and they can be quite negative. They can be low vibrate, like very down. I wonder this all the time. Why does the brain come up with these thoughts? Like, we have 70,000 thoughts today, and 90% of them are the same ones we had yesterday.
Yeah.
So remember, we're just in this continual pattern.
Like a washing machine. It's like a washing machine of old laundry that is going around all the time. Yeah. And those voices that are detrimental to you, the way that I see them, and this is the best, most harmonious way I look at them, is that I developed them. I created those belief structures because at some point in my life, I was misperceiving reality as a 4-year-old, and someone has said something to me that's made me feel hurt, and I've developed a belief or an assumption to protect myself. So then we grow into our older age. I'm 36 now, and I'm still dealing with limiting beliefs to do with not being good enough or having low self-worth. And these are two aspects of my experience that I'm always growing and always developing, because I've traced it all the way back is to my parents never valued, and this is no attack to my parents. I love my parents very much. My parents didn't necessarily validate or make me and my brother feel valued or important. They were loving to us. They were nice people. They're really lovely people. But at certain aspects of a child's life, they need to hear certain things in order to be whole and confident and passionate and driven. And we just weren't receiving those from our parents because forgive them, for they know not what they do. And so as a result of that, my spiritual journey has been coming out of these programs, these stuck algorithms I had stored in my subconscious mind, which were keeping me from being great, were preventing me from stepping out and speaking my truth and being honorable and loyal and truthful. And I was lying and manipulating and taking drugs and just doing things to mask all of the pain. So yeah, once you have that epiphany and you go, wow, I'm not my thoughts. What is it that is, what is the observer of thoughts? Right? And you start going down that tunnel.
Yeah.
And then your life gets
observing them, so they're looking from another angle, and
that's right.
Okay, interesting.
And you get further and further back down the rabbit hole, back into the black hole, which is infinite. You feel the sense of infinity. You feel the sense of of unlimitedness, of oneness with everything, the animals, the plants. And the more I used to go into meditation and slip into that state, I started identifying with that state more than the human state. So then I knew I had emotions. I was like, oh, I've got emotions, anger, resentment. Then I knew I had these destructive thoughts because I'd realized that I was the observer of them. And that just brings joy, dude, so much joy. You don't take this too seriously. You kind of like, you're going around looking at people taking everything really seriously, and you're like, wow, these people really think this is real. This is amazing. And the concerns of people, and they're so worried. And it's not saying and that is all part of the experience as well. This is a being of God, an expression of God knowing what it's like to be stressed, an expression of God knowing what it's like to feel trauma, an expression of God knowing what it's like to be depressed. I am an expression of God now who knows what it's like to feel joy and excitement.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've been through the traumas, depression, anxieties, fear, you name it, paranoia. I've been there. When I used to smoke a lot of weed when I was young, oh my God, the paranoia I used to have.
I bet.
Oh my God, that thing sent me crazy. That and cocaine. It's the paranoia I used to get off of them. Bad stuff.
I never got paranoid on coke.
Right.
Well, whenever in my 20s.
You weren't doing enough.
I just never, paranoia a little bit with weed, but with cocaine, I always felt like I could do anything.
Yeah.
Like I was just invincible. I would just be like, right, I know exactly what I have to do. And I'd get a pen and I'd write loads of stuff down. And in the morning, nothing was relevant.
Go for days, like go out on a Thursday, like come home on a Sunday or a Monday, and just been coke and pills and all sorts of ketamine and all weekend raving, and it was a real concoction, I'll tell you. So yeah, it didn't do good for the mind, that's for sure.
No, and I'm grateful because although I have partaken in substances throughout my 20s, I never was in a scene. I never had many friends who did drugs. My friends were very conservative. They were like studying degrees in various universities, and some of them were professional musicians. So we weren't like binging like you. Some of the stories you told me about like 4-day benders, like I've never done a 4-day bender.
We lived in Ibiza for a few years as well, so it was just full on over there, partying all the time, and it was just come hand in hand. It's that man lifestyle, you know, the rock most rock stars get into that thing because it's just there. And I know many people who are listening to this will be able to relate to the drugs and what it puts you through. And I know for me, I got to a point I was just like, physically, I can't do this no more. I need to. I'm not getting anything from my life. You know, all weekend you'd be in a different place in your mind, and then Monday, Tuesday, you're suffering. Wednesday, start feel good. Thursday, you're back to normal again. You go, oh, should we go out again? That's what it was, just a continuous cycle. I couldn't get out of it. So in the end, I was like, I had to step away and just take myself away from the environment. Once I took myself away from the environment and I didn't go out anymore, that's when it changed for me.
Yeah.
That's the same. That's the same with anything that's going on with people in their lives right now. I don't know what they're going through, but if you take yourself away from the environment and you can change that mind, all of a sudden you can start evolving and moving down into a new path that's going to be better for you, which is what I had to discover. You know, I had to go through that, but I had some good times as well. I traveled around the world partying, and it wasn't all bad and doom and gloom. Trust me, we had a lot of fun, but it's definitely not something I would like to go back to. That's for sure.
So for anyone that's watching this, in regards to drugs, if you're struggling with a drug addiction, or you have this repetitive syndrome or some habitual behavior that you're stuck in, I empathize with you, because trying to get off smoking different drugs, you kind of get into this dependency that you need it, or you convince yourself, I'm going to have it, I need to have it. And you justify the need to take the drug. And really, self-honesty when you're coming off drugs, self-honesty is really important, where you know that sober is what you need to be, but yet you have this belief that you still need the substance. So you're in this paradox, because you know ultimately that being completely clean and healthy and juicing and doing yoga and breathing and feeling healthy is what you actually intend when you were born. When you were originally born, your intent was to live some kind of happy, jolly life. But for some reason along the way, you've ended up like doing some kind of drug, and you're keeping yourself in this state. And don't give yourself a hard time when you take drugs. If you're stuck on drugs and you keep taking them, don't give yourself a hard time. Don't smoke drugs and take drugs and then feel guilty about it. If you're going to do it, let's do it. Just be like, I'm going to do this drug, and I'm just going to be free. At least enjoy the experience of taking the drug, and don't just give yourself a hard time, because that's actually not helping you get off it.
I wean myself off. So I used to smoke a lot of weed. I used to smoke like a quarter of weed a day. And I was scaffolding at the time as well. And we'd be working on like 100-foot buildings and rolling joints 100 foot up in the air, like stupid craziness, like so stupid. But
I love it. I love it. I love the imagery of some of the stories. You're just like up 100 foot, like rolling. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid. But when it was for me, when I had to come off, because I was doing so much of it, that and coke, I was just very addictive personality. So when I get into something, I go all in. But I had to wean myself off. So rather than smoking 20 joints a day, I went down to 15, and then I'd go down to 10, and then I went to 5, and then 2, and I'd done it over a course of time.
Yeah.
I can even go down doing coke. I used to do so much, it was ridiculous. But I weaned myself off, and it was like, okay, I'm not going to do this much, no, I'm going to do that. And I knew in my mind I had an end goal that I want to get off of this, but I've got to do it in time. I can't just go and stop, because that's when you make yourself ill.
Yeah, and it is a process. It's a process, and it's a psychological, spiritual, emotional, physical process to come off all of these dependencies, because your emotional body relies on it, your physical body craves for it, your mind is convinced that you need it. You're also in a habitual pattern physically of doing it. So you kind of like, you got to shake it off you. You have to kind of rinse yourself out slowly until one day
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, like give yourself a crack, shake up all aspects of your life.
What else you got? I like that.
Yeah, let's move, because we talked about drugs a little bit. Let's move into our relationship with plant medicines now, because that's a good segue into, now that we have a better, more kind of like philosophical, spiritual perspective of life, of ourselves, of our purpose, of who we are as individuals and what direction spiritually we're heading. Now I feel like my relationship with weed has gone from a codependent relationship to a very spiritual experience, where I still smoke weed once or twice a week. I'll go for a walk, I'll sit down in meditation, I'll smoke a little bit of the medicine, and I'll just sit quietly with my eyes closed for a few hours and have some really beautiful, profound, transcendental experiences where I'm let go, and I've transcended my senses, and sometimes I have a sense of like identitylessness when I'm in that state, and it's beautiful. So weed isn't a bad thing. It shouldn't be labeled as an evil drug, because it can be very therapeutic and very medicine based. How about you? What's your experience with plant medicine?
So for me, I got involved a little while ago. I can't remember when it was. It's been a while now. First, I started doing some ayahuasca, which was beautiful experience. And then we've just literally just come back from Colombia as well. Another retreat, another time abroad, doing the medicine. That was a journey and a half though, because obviously we got stuck out there because of the COVID, and we was in the middle of nowhere in a big hut. When I say in the middle of nowhere, I mean it was literally, we had mountains next to us, and really rural. So we couldn't get to town. The nearest town was about half an hour, 45 minutes away in a cab. So we didn't really have a lot around us. And then we get told there's no flights. All of our flights have been cancelled. So we have 2 days worth of water and food, and we get told we're not allowed to go into the town because we're foreigners. So all of a sudden we're like, okay, we've got no food, no water. And then all of a sudden this is where like a fear mode comes in. What am I going to do? You know, we're totally in the unknown now. We're in Colombia. We've just had some beautiful ceremonies, drinking the medicine. And then all of a sudden now you've got this to process. So all of a sudden your mind's going from one extreme to another. Yeah. And fears and everything come up. So yeah, we had a hard time getting back. It took us about a week to book a flight. But we finally got back. The British Embassy got us home, and there's actually 3 people still there who went with us. They didn't get on the flight with us. They decided to stay in Colombia. So they're still there. They've been there over 2 months now. So God knows how many ceremonies they're doing. You know, they're
going to come back enlightened.
Oh my God. No, they're still doing ceremonies over there. They're still drinking the medicine.
Yeah, I've been in touch with Anastasia on WhatsApp. She's having a lovely time. You know?
Yeah, they're cool. But for me, I knew lockdown was happening, and I just was like, I need to be home. Like, we were staying on a wooden floor, on a tiny little mat, cold showers. And I was like, if I stay here, I could be here months sleeping on this wooden floor. Yeah. That for me, I didn't resonate with that at all. I've had my medicine. I'm doing my processing.
What was your experience like with the medicine? You don't have to go too much into it because I know you had a strange situation. But anyone who's listening about ayahuasca, like, give it a brief introduction about
yeah, of course. So I've had many, many beautiful, beautiful ceremonies that have taken me to new dimensions. Been with the angels, been with the divine, beautiful. But I had one ceremony in Colombia where it got dark, and it wasn't too nice. So I don't think it's all fairies and angels, because it's not, because you got to do the work.
You've got to do the shadow. The shadow work is equal as the highs and the lows, you know. Yeah,
absolutely. So I don't want to go into it too much because it was a little bit bit traumatic and a lot to deal with it. And if I have to talk about it, then it obviously brings it back up a little bit. But yeah, just be prepared that if you do the plant medicines, that, you know, stuff that not expected might come up. I don't know what the plant medicine give you what you need.
Yeah.
So be aware of that. But yeah, other than that, I've had beautiful, beautiful ceremonies, and yeah, it's changed my life, to be honest. Because I had a big car crash last year. I got hit by a lorry and squashed into another car. So that for me I'll go back a little bit just before I tell this story. I've had multiple near-death misses over the years. Of, as you can tell, little scar on my head for everyone watching the video. If you don't know me, I got hit by a scaffold fitting about 13 years ago this year. It fell from 70 foot, broke my skull, and I should have died. But that was actually my journey into enlightenment and spirituality and personal development. And then I've had a few other things happen over the years that all added up. But after the car accident last year, just triggered something in me, was panic attacks, anxiety, depression. So I had a lot of work to get through. And it was the plant medicine that really helped me get through that. It propelled me. It was like a catapult and a fast track to recovery.
Yeah.
But obviously there was still some anxieties and stuff buried deep, as we were talking about a minute ago, in the layers that we have. So that was, you know, I'm still working on it now. Every day I'm just processing, and self-love, self-care. I'm just continuously trying to clear my ancestral baggage, all of the traumas I've had, you know. So I'm always that's part of my meditations in the morning as well, as clearing the energy, getting up, feeling good, the dancing, the music, releasing that energy. You know, you get blockages in your body, in your system, that, as we're saying, for years and years and years, and you don't even know about it. So the more you can get your body moving and get that energy released, and when you release, if you have any dark energy or anything, or you're trying to release dark energy, always release it into the light. Don't just put negativity back into the world. Release it into goodness and with love and whatever you want to do. But yeah, never just release the bad energy. Always put it into light, which is what I've found. Because if we just release negativity into the world, it's just going to vibrate and go somewhere else. So
That's right. That's right. It is all just energy work, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. So what was your experience with the plant medicine like? Did you have good experience?
Yeah, so I've done all of the plant medicines really now. I held off on ayahuasca for years and years, even though I'd traveled around Asia for years and I'd done DMT on many occasions in various platforms and with various groups of people. Taken LSD, although it derives from wheat, so technically it is a plant medicine. Weed, but ayahuasca was the big one, which we did 2 months ago when I did it with you and Bill. And yeah, the Buffo, that's where it was at for me. I've never experienced anything like Buffo before. And I've done DMT 4 times, leading
Different level.
25 times more what DMT is. Like it was the most surreal out of body experience I've ever had in my life.
Tell me a little bit about your experience. What happened for you in your journey? Do you remember?
Yeah, of course, of course. I didn't go to a particular location. I just went to a void, and in the void was just so much love, like so much love, as if you're just being bathed in love and bathed in just appreciation and value, where you just feel your true, authentic value of what you're worth. And I met beings. I won't label what they're called, but I met entities there, and they were just pouring love and they were surrounding you. And there was a main being who, while you're having these experiences, it's so surreal that you don't have time to think. It's just happening. And then when you come back, I remember that when I came back on that particular occasion that you were there, I think I announced to the world some kind of speech. It took a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you did, yeah. It was a beautiful speech. It was, I wish we'd recorded it because it was very profound. And
yeah, I mean, that was my higher self talking through me, because I wasn't consciously aware of what was happening. My conscious mind wasn't activated. Whatever was speaking then, it was channeled through my body, because I have no real recollection of it. All I'm left with is the memory of how I feel. So all I was left with after the speaking has ended was a feeling of such high appreciation and gratitude and value that, and I went around the room hugging everyone. Like I was just so amazed at what I'd received in a message. And then it took me months and months of processing that one trip, that one Buffo ceremony. It took me 2 months.
wow.
Writing and crying, just crying and crying. And I'd have this childhood trauma come up, I'd cry. Another one, ancestral stuff, low self-worth, regret, guilt, like all of the crap that had been stored in my body. I just, after the Buffo, just started unraveling. And yeah, it's been absolutely incredible. Like there's no doubt that plant medicines is the future of medicine.
Yeah,
like we think pharmaceuticals is medicine, and we think that it ain't medicine.
no,
that is some kind of profit-based money-making scheme. Real medicine solves the actual root cause of the symptom. Pharmaceutical companies just soothe the symptom. But if you want to get to the bottom of your anxiety or depression or whatever, you move into the ayahuascas. She's very wise. She's very knowledgeable. I find ayahuasca so gentle. It was like I had the presence of a female angel within my state of consciousness. And I realized that because I was alone when this happened, I could communicate with it, and I would ask questions out loud. And about 10 to 15 minutes later, I would receive the information through my mind. And I was like, oh, so what do I do about money? I need to generate some kind of income, and this is an honest question. And why do I have why do I have this much money, and what can I do to make more money? Because I want to help other people, and I'm going to have to make money to do that. And then loads of ideas came. Business ideas, how to communicate, how to move forward, how to write a business plan, started coming. So ayahuasca is a very wise healer, but you can also be in a relationship with that entity, with that spirit, because those thoughts wouldn't have come unless I was on that substance, on that medicine. And yeah, everything is going according to plan.
Love that. So good. So good to hear. So give people a little bit of information on this so far. What about if we talk a little bit about something that's just come to my mind, like who's out there at the moment that's inspiring you, that's doing good and getting information out for the public to learn about, like the COVID stuff and how to get through it? Is there any specific people that you've been following, and what are they teaching? How are they getting through this time as well?
Yeah, I suppose the internet has made everything readily available, and I have a nice relationship with the internet. I have lots of different people I follow. One of my favorite people, if you haven't checked him out yet, his name is Brian Rose, and he runs London Real. And it's an interview. He's just an interviewer who lives in London. He's American.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
And he is one of the greatest interviewers of our kind. I don't know him personally, but from what I gather from his interviewing skills, he's a very intelligent man. And he's got his finger on the pulse at the moment with information. He's going up against some big companies because they're censoring all of his work. And he's very passionate about freedom of speech. He's very passionate and very powerful and very wealthy. And those combinations of having resources and communication at his level, he's going to be a front runner moving forward as Earth awakens. And we need people who are fighting the good fight to do with freedom of information and freedom of speech. And so check out him. His name's Brian Rose from London Real. He's amazing. Another people is like Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief, understanding our relationship between our thoughts, our beliefs, and our body. Legendary doctor, check him out. We've got Dr. Joe Dispenza, another, I know you talk about him quite highly.
I love Dr. Joe. He saved my life. After my accident last year, I just watched Joe Dispenza all day, and he literally transformed my mind.
Yeah. His understanding, because his story is absolutely incredible. Like completely crippled in hospital from a bike crash.
He said he'd never walk
again, fractured everything. And yeah, just with the power of his own mind, healed his whole body. And now he tours the planet 365 days a year teaching.
Yeah. And his teachings are, guys, if you are watching this, please check out Dr. Joe Dispenza. I will put links in the description for these guys who we're talking about as well. But he has literally got a formula, scientifically proven as well. He does brain scans. He does like events with 2,000 people in them. He scans everyone's brains. He's taking scientific research and showing us a formula where we can use in everyday life to change our minds.
And change our personalities.
Yeah, because if you want to change your personal reality, you got to change your personality. And to do that, you have to change your mind. So he teaches you a technique where you are literally in the moment right now and you're thinking about your future. That's it. You're not thinking about the past and the traumas and the pain, the anxieties. He has people healing themselves from blindness, eczema, while they're in meditation with him.
Yeah.
He takes them to different levels, and he is it's unbelievable. It's fascinating because it's all science.
It's kind of like spiritual development, empowerment, and science all melded into one.
That's what I love about it as well, because it's scientifically proven what he's doing is good. You know, the everyday person can relate to what he says, and he explains things in such a way that it's so easy for people to go, I can do that.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. So sorry to interrupt, but yeah.
No, it's good. No, you're right. Joe Dispenza is a special guy, and he was a big part of mine. Maybe this time last year I was heavy on Joe Dispenza. What else? Lipton, Joe Dispenza, Louise Hay.
Yeah,
Louise Hay. What a wonderful,
bizarre.
so good. She died at 91, which proves her formula is 100% proven. Like, she died at the ripe old age of 91, and she was so healthy.
Right.
Louise Hay is amazing. But I like watching like inspirational videos like Les Brown.
Yeah, I love Les Brown.
Les Brown, amazing. You could listen to Les Brown all day and just feel amazing.
Yeah, he's good. And he puts humor in his speeches as well, so he's always funny.
He's always laughing.
Yeah, like laugh.
So
Laughter is my other element that if I'm feeling down, I'll put a comedy on. Like, you laugh when you're feeling down, I can promise you're going to start to feel good. It just lifts you up. You know?
Yeah, humor is huge.
Yeah, humor, music, dancing.
Yeah. Les Brown is good. Obviously, you got Tony Robbins. He's amazing. Another incredibly powerful human being. But there's loads of people on the internet where we can be inspired by, and it's kind of like the trickle-down effect. This is what we're doing right now. Me and you are just sharing what we've learned along the way, and we have our influences, and we, as a result of just having this conversation, are essentially becoming the influence of someone else, becoming the inspiration for someone else to go, wow, change is possible.
I hope so.
Yeah, because this is why I do these interviews and these recordings, is because if you are watching this, my intention of this is to try and help and spread awareness and open the minds of other people and allow that true essence, that true consciousness to come back to the being that's not stuck in the judgmental, labeling, criticizing mind, but in the open, expansive mind, which is willing to accept all things as one and see the harmony of things. And that's what I'll always make videos. I know that for the rest of my life, I'm always going to be making videos because it's so much fun for me. I love it.
It's good. The thing is, if you've got the knowledge and wisdom that you have and sharing that information, even if we can just help one person with this video, that's good enough for me. And I just really want to put the intentions out there. Like, if you do enjoy this, please share it and get, it might be one person, that's struggling right now. Share this and they might watch it. They might just get one nugget from it that will help their life. And then and at the moment we're going through a massive transition in the world. The world is healing, the world is changing. We are literally evolving into new human beings. And we need to share the positivity, we need to do the right thing, and it's so easy to do as well. It's just
awakening is one of the simplest, most difficult things to do.
Yeah.
because you're relinquishing yourself of thought, essentially, and you can get your state of being back. You can choose your own state of being again and decide on what you want instead of being the slave of your mind. But to do that, it's so simple to do that, but it's also incredibly difficult to do that. Because the mind is habitual in nature. It's like running your life for 20, 30 years. And to stop that is like trying to stop a ship in the ocean. It has to keep going for ages and ages and ages. So I just want to inspire people to have a spiritual awakening so they can benefit themselves, essentially. And by doing that, their own shadow work and come to terms with who they are, they'll have the ability to enjoy relationships again and enjoy health again and enjoy the sunshine again and start living in that state of joy in all aspects of your life, which was not possible for me at all 6 years ago. I was a complete derelict imbecile. I was a complete imbecile 6 years ago. Like, there's no other way of doing it. I lost so many friends. People stopped talking to me. I had to wean myself off all of these substances. I had to leave my wife, my job. Everything had to stop. And then I had to go on this insane spiritual adventure, searching books and reading esoteric manuals and symbolism and breathing and taking plant medicines just to come to the realization that I was already perfect.
Yeah, you already done. You're there.
You're already perfect.
Yeah.
Act accordingly, right? act accordingly.
I put a thing on Insta this morning. Let me just read it for you because it's quite a good post. Remind yourself daily that there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the way.
Yeah, just be happy. But you can't attain true blissful happiness until you've done the shadow work. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. Like, you have to turn your attention towards the dark side, given it a Star Wars pun. But the dark side of you is what's preventing you from feeling incredible. And people live in it.
How do people get through that, Chris? How do people do that?
Faith. Faith is a spiritual essence. It's a spiritual energy that you can build your faith levels. When you first have a belief, oh, I'm going to get over this depression. I am going to beat this. I'm going to get through this drug addiction. I'm going to beat this. I'm going to get through this. It's the faith. It's the fabric of what's pulling you to do it and your willpower to take it. And I'm an extreme person. Whatever I do to an extreme level, and I do to a very high level. And when I decided that spirituality was a thing, and I was like, this is a thing, like people are doing this meditation stuff. And I engrossed myself in it. And I bought the incense, and I got rid of my clothes, and I bought all of these things. And I went fully into the identity of it to try and make myself feel about it. But ultimately, even these things don't make you spiritual. Even these things don't make you spiritual at all. These are just things. Like, they're just things that we have on us. The clothes doesn't matter. The hair doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have beads in your beard. You're not more spiritual if you have more beads in your beard. like it doesn't matter. Spirituality is
another level. And once you get to then, you've got beads in your beard.
Yeah.
You've hit a certain level of spirituality. Yeah.
It's just not taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah, have fun.
And having fun and enjoying yourself and expressing yourself without distorting it in some way or manipulating. And the mind is a monkey, man. It will just keep fucking with you, and it keeps pulling you away from your true essence. And it's doing it to protect you. It's doing it as a defense mechanism. And I talk to my mind. I talk to my mind all the time. And if it's having thoughts that are out of alignment with who I truly am, which is like quite honest and quite loving and quite integral. If I'm thinking thoughts that are quite detrimental, I have a word with my mind. I say, listen, I appreciate what you're doing, but I don't need to have these thoughts anymore. I only want to think thoughts of positivity and love and grace and appreciation and gratitude. I don't know what you're doing up there, but just give it a break, because I'm not tolerating it anymore. And you'll be surprised how quickly your mind then goes, okay, like, you get what ask and thou shalt receive. Okay. And you kind of can calm your own mind down once you realize that it's been
good for people listening to this. If they've got a lot of stuff going on, like you said, the monkey mind, and this time, everyone's dealing this in different ways. We're confident with it because we understand this sort of stuff. But for people who are listening that might not be at our level at the moment, but can build to it, just taking that one simple thing and just having a word with your mind. So simple.
Yeah, and a spiritual awakening essentially is, if I was to summarize it in like the simplest terms, it is relaxing. Relaxing is having a spiritual awakening, because the more you can relax your body, the more you can relax your mind, because they're in a relationship. So one will relax a little bit, the mind may still be active, but then your mind might be calm, but you might feel like your body is tight. So they'll both start relaxing at different speeds. But eventually what will happen is the more you can relax, your identity to those two things loosens as well. So you stop identifying with the monkey thoughts. The more they calm down, the more you realize that you're not your thoughts. The more your body relaxes, the more your body will allow you to slip out of it. And in having these kind of like deep meditative kind of relaxed, doing some breathing, and your sense of identity leaves your mind and your body. And in doing so, a bit like taking plant medicines, when you come back into the mind and body, you know that it's just an avatar. You know it. There's not even a doubt, because just the act of leaving it and coming it back proves that you're not your body and your mind. They're just aspects of the experience. And that can be quite shocking for some people who are totally engaged in physical reality. Like they're believing all of their thoughts and they think that we're physical, and they have to protect themselves from this big wide world that's quite scary. But when you realize that you're not even of this world, then you have nothing to be worried about. You know you cannot be harmed. You know that you cannot, the thoughts that you have in your mind are illusionary in nature, so not take them too seriously. Like I said in a previous video, your thoughts are like actors auditioning for your attention.
I love this. So
And if the actor thoughts come into your mind and you just believe them, they'll start ruining your film, which is your life. But if you can just audition them and screen test them, no, I only want really beautiful thoughts about love and happiness, and I only want thoughts of communication and connection. And the other thoughts, which are the bad thoughts, you don't invite them into your movie, your film, your life movie. And if you can start getting to the point of meditation where you're able to audition your own thoughts, then your life just unfolds in wonderful ways. You're able to communicate much more effectively and more harmoniously, where previously that was not possible for me at all. Like, that wasn't even an option for me. Yeah. What about you in terms of having your awakening? You obviously were the type of person where you were doing a lot of drugs, and then you had the thing on the head, and then you had almost like the universe. I just sort of like the concept of the universe was just fucking with you until you woke up, like in the head, car crash, near-death experience, and it was just like shaking Joby until he had his awakening, like, Joby, wake up!
Yeah, it's funny because every trauma that I've been through has been an awakening, and then all of a sudden it's just got deeper and deeper and deeper. I've had to do more, discover more stuff, but like the stuff I was learning last year as for my trauma is stuff I'm doing totally different stuff now. So it's evolved me and really grown me, especially doing the shaman work that we do and being taught that's really helped me evolve my mind, my awareness of things, and being able to see things from a different perspective as well. Not just that, it's about that, and it's all over we can take things from all different points of view doing the shamanic work. So for me, my spiritual awakenings, they've got deeper and deeper and deeper the more I've gone. But yeah, you're right, spirit was shaking me a little bit. Slow down, don't do this, don't do that, take me off of that path, and then you need to be on this path. But it's not just me at the moment as well. I feel like spirits are, if you don't understand this and you're not really into this, I'll try and make this a little bit so you can resonate with this, but it feels like a lot with this virus and everything that's going on right now, it feels like spirits are literally shaking people, as you just said about me, to wake the fuck up. Like, we need to be doing better for humanity. We need to be doing better for ourselves. We need to be looking after Mother Earth way much more than we have been, because we've trashed her. Like, the plastic in the ocean, like just all this stuff that we've done. It's horrendous how we've treated her. And she's literally purging now. Like, I don't want the plastic in the oceans and all this different stuff. So having this time off is perfect. There's never ever be a better time for us to grow and evolve as humans and help Mother Earth. Like, it is just the perfect time. And if you're not evolving during this time, if you're not doing daily work, like a 5-minute meditation, 10-minute meditation, just to clear the mind and do stuff and help yourself, then you are gonna get stuck and you're not gonna evolve with what is coming, because the vibration of the earth right now is through the roof. So I don't know if you want to touch on the Schumann resonance, which you briefly explained on our healing cycle, but for people who have not seen that, what's going on with the energy of the earth right now?
So for anyone, just a quick catch up, this is what's been happening over the last couple of thousand years. We went through a period of low consciousness on Earth where we were unconscious. We refer to it in popular culture as the Dark Ages, or medieval times, the period of the middle part of the evil times, medieval times. The Hindus call it the Kala Yuga. It's a period of darkness. And we're basically coming out of that now. We went through this, the Renaissance and then the Age of Enlightenment, and we're now in the Age of Aquarius. We are officially in the Age of Aquarius now. We're moving into a much higher vibration, earthly, conscious-wise. The plants, the animals, the humans, the earth, the weather, everything is now becoming higher vibration. Everything that's within this sphere of this experience is rising in vibration because it's astrological. The earth has moved into a different age. So everything on this planet is going to have to evolve or die. That's your only option. So because we're in a big, long wave of awakening that's happening on Earth, people are like popcorn kernels. They're waking up at different times, like pop, 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 pop. And everyone, depending on your level of intelligence, depending on your programming, depending on where you were born, depending on so many different aspects, your genetics, your ancestral background, you will wake up at a particular time. And waking up is essentially leaving the matrix, like the film, The Matrix. You've lived in this world that you thought was real. And when you have an awakening, you start to perceive that world as not what you were told it was. And you start realizing what the monarchy really is. And you start realizing what the governments really are. And you start realizing what the police are really doing around your neighborhood. They're not trying to keep you safe. They're just protecting companies. And you go through these different stages of awakening. And it can be a very confusing time. It can be a very strange and unusual time because you're dismantling your old mind and stepping into a paradigm of perfection, essentially. Everything is perfect. But you have to go through all of those things. But yeah, the earth is waking up, everything's waking up. And if you think of, we talk about this a lot in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Try and think of everything in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Even going to the shops, speaking to your mum and dad, drinking a coffee. If you go to the shops, be high vibrational, interact with people in a high vibrational way. Hey, how are you? How was your day? You try to impact as many people. If you're talking to your parents, don't leave people higher than when you left them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course.
That's vibrational. That's energy work.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what you just said there, when you're talking to people and when you leave them, let them feel joy and happiness when you're walking away from them. Don't have arguments. Like, sometimes I hear people having arguments. I'm like, what are you arguing about? You know, it's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and if the mind, the ego is a sneaky character because it's always trying to justify its position. It's always trying to reinforce its own position. So whenever you hear two people arguing, it's just two egos justifying each other's positions. I'm justifying my position. And like Jesus said when he came here to teach, his teaching is, we forgive them for they know not what they do. And it sounds very peculiar for someone who's unconscious to hear someone say that. Like, what do you mean forgive us for you know not what you do? And it's not a superiority complex. When I had an awakening, a lot of my friends who were unconscious used to call me arrogant. And they were like, you're very arrogant, you've become very arrogant. And I had to check in with myself to see if I was actually being arrogant, like, because the ego is a sneaky bastard. He will convince you to do lots of things. So I was going home and saying to my wife, I was going, maybe I'm just really arrogant, and I was unconscious of my arrogance. But no, it's actually just confidence. It's actually knowing what you're talking about and believing in it and just speaking your truth. And everyone has the right to do that. Everyone has the right to stand up and speak and believe whatever they want to believe in this world, freedom of speech. And if other people are perceiving you as arrogant, it's actually just a reflection of how they feel about themselves, essentially. And that isn't misogynistic or superiority or narcissistic. I just feel like everyone has the right to just stand up and speak your truth. And I won't judge. If you stand up today and say whatever you want about your truth, I won't judge you. I'll actually lovingly accept what you're saying is true for you. And it doesn't mean that I need to defend my position because you have an opposed position. I don't need to defend my position because I know my position is true for me and it's not true for anyone else. It's just my truth. And if you stand up and say that Jesus is the one and you love Jesus, and someone else stands up and said, no, it's Muhammad and it's Allah, I just love that everyone's just standing up and speaking their truth. And I recommend it and I celebrate it and I congratulate it. And I say, yes, you believe this. This is amazing. the purpose is that everyone's just being true to themselves and believing in what it is they want to do. And that's why I interview, that's why I talk to people, because I'm always trying to allow people to just relinquish that pressure that they put on themselves, just to let that pressure off that they've given themselves a hard time for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
I want to massage it out of them.
Spiritual massages. Now's a very good time for us to release old energies, move into new beginnings. We're literally about an hour and a half. Do you want to carry on, or do you want to?
Yeah, we'll do a little bit, 10, 15 minutes. We'll wrap it up.
Perfect. So let's talk about a very interesting subject. What about the censorship on like Facebook and YouTube and these big people who are having accounts of like 1 million people shut down? What's your view on this?
So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, they're all owned by one group of people. And whether you think they're all separate or not, or you'll find later that the banks and the governments and the monarchy are also part of that organization. So they have used, Facebook is basically a mind reading algorithm. When you log onto Facebook, the first thing it asks you is what's on your mind. In all of the windows, the first thing it asks anyone when they log onto the app or on the computer, it opens a little box and it just says what's on your mind, because they put that, position it right in front of us. So we're continuously giving the algorithm our thoughts. And it's a mind reading algorithm that take all of our thoughts and they put them all in categories. Billions and billions of thoughts.
I'll check. Yeah, what's on your mind? I didn't never even notice that.
Yeah.
What's on your mind? Yeah.
So there it is.
Yeah,
what's on your mind?
Yeah.
And it's always the first thing, because Facebook is designed by two groups of people. Facebook is designed by psychologists who strategically place colors, fonts, spells, words, questions in our line of sight to extract information from us. And the lawyers say that it's okay to do it. So the lawyers are lobbying to change the laws to make them legal so they can read our mind. It's very genius. It's a genius, but what they're able to do is they already controlled us physically, because we live in a big tax farm and we were already doing as we were told, physically working, paying 20% of our taxes to the Queen. We were already controlled physically, but they never knew what was on our mind. And Facebook solved that because they extracted 2.7 billion people's worth of mind information. What we're talking about, our ideas, what we feel about this, how we feel about this, what do we think 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 about this, bam, 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 bam. As soon as they had our thoughts, we were fucked, right? They could plan 20 years in advance with the information they've gathered from us today. So Facebook is heavily censoring all information all the time. The reason people don't know that is because they're not saying anything of any value, so it doesn't get taken down. Most people are talking about their dinner, their dog, a sunset, some belief, some conspiracy theory. If the conspiracy theory gathers momentum and starts getting a lot of likes, they'll just take it down. And I've had many videos taken down over the years through my YouTube account about police interaction and stuff. I'd film police interaction with the public and I'd put it on my YouTube account and it would disappear. So you just know that the people who run this organization, call them whatever you want, they're plugged into all of these sources and they don't want people speaking their truth. We actually don't have freedom of speech at all. That's an illusion. Although we can just stand in the street and say whatever we want, the police will show up eventually.
Freedom of speech is such an old paradigm, isn't it? There's no way we have that now. Especially with the likes of like Brian Rose, who's interviewing David Icke, gets pulled down from YouTube. As soon as it was up, it was down. David Icke's just had his Facebook
taken down. 1 million views.
Yeah, like all these things are happening. You know, you're talking about vaccines or anything, people's accounts getting shut down.
Well, I would let's give, if anyone's watched this all the way through and you guys are interested in what we're saying, and this is all kind of like alien to you or quite new to you, do some research. The internet is a vast, like your laptop is a portal into anything you want to know. Your laptop is a portal for you to attain any knowledge and information imaginable. You can look at anything on the internet. So don't just use your internet as an opportunity to distract yourself with entertainment, although entertainment is fun and it can be a really wonderful escape from reality. But if you really want to know the truth of what's really happening, use your internet, type in what's really happening with Hollywood, what's happening with Bill Gates and vaccines, what's really happening in Congress, what's really happening behind the scenes in Parliament with the monarchy, with the royal family, what's really happening at the BBC. And just go a little bit deeper and don't always believe the official story. Just do your own research in your own time, or whatever resonates and feels right for you. But know that the official story is not the official story. The official story through the news media is a deliberately written piece of art or entertainment so that you feel comfortable. When you go beyond that, you start getting into the real media, like the amount of stuff, the amount of information that's been leaked on the internet over the years. You can access.
Didn't WikiLeaks like release all of their files the other day or something?
29,000 files an hour for 12 hours.
What?
Yeah, something like 390,000 files.
Wow.
Because they were just, back in the day when the internet was first established, there weren't the firewalls or the security in place. So hackers could quite easily go into things that were on the internet, and they were just clearing out like CIA cupboards and FBI folders and stuff like that. And people were taking pen drives and giving them to Russians, and the information has always been hidden and concealed from us. But now what's happening is it's all being released, it's all being released, it's all being released back to the public. And all the public need to do is snap out of the original narrative and pay attention to what's really happening on the planet. And it's not a conspiracy theory, just pay attention to what's happening on the planet. I'm not theorizing anything. I just know what's happening on the planet.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation about this the other day with someone.
Yeah.
You're saying we've got access to all this information now, but never, ever, ever have we all had access to this information all at the same time.
Yeah.
This is why now Bill Gates got absolutely trashed on Instagram, because people are waking up and going, I can read this information for myself. I can make a decision for myself as a sovereign human being. Like, I can make a decision.
Yeah.
This is why the internet is so powerful, because everyone around the world, we're all on lockdown. What are people doing? Sitting on their computers, researching and looking into things now.
Yeah.
So this is why we're having this mass collective, and the vibration of the energy is going up, because people are going, do you know what? I don't want to be a part of this. Like,
enough is enough.
I've got a choice now.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean, just getting the message out there. You're really good with your Instagram and your Facebook, and I use these platforms as literally just shelves that I can put positive information on. If I do 3 Facebook posts a day that are alternative, that's to do with spirituality or awakening or conceptual of time and space or anything, any information that I can produce, any sound or word that can come out of my mouth and somehow change the course of humanity in some way, then it's worth me doing it. It's worth the teaching, it's worth the word, it's worth the positive energy, because spells are energy, words are energy. And just by speaking positively, you are creating a positive world.
I don't share anything else other than positive information.
Yeah, I have to be careful, because sometimes I'll see a Donald Trump or a paedophile ring or something, and I'll see something that kind of is disturbing. And just before I share it, I go, although I know this is true and people should know about it because it's quite horrific, I choose not to share content like that, because the people who are unaware of that reality will become more disturbed as a result of knowing the information. So then I bypass those types and I just go back to, everyone have a great day. And what is everyone doing? And just maintaining that high vibration, because that will wake them up quicker, and then they'll realize it later.
Yeah, of course. And we're not putting attention on that.
That's right.
It's a thing as well. If you put your attention on it, you know, we're fueling their fire.
That's right. That's right. You're creating, and that is basically what I discovered when I went through my rebellious stage with the police. I was thinking about the police a lot, and then I keep getting arrested. And then once I got back from Chiang Mai and I had this incredible experience of realignment of my perspective, I never once thought about the police, ever. I never do. I don't think about them. I don't think about the law, the councils, the governments.
Your energy.
It's a waste of mental energy. I don't concern myself with money anymore. I don't have any concerns, because why would you concern yourself with something? It doesn't help. And yeah, what you put your attention on grows in your life. So if you put your attention on matters that are outside of your immediate life, like celebrities, like what that footballer's doing, and you're throwing your energy and attention at things that have no relevance to your life at all.
Makes so much sense. So interesting as well. Yeah, keep on the positive path, and keep sharing positivity. Anyone's watching this and you want to share anything of mine, or just copy and paste it, it's there. Just take it. I'm not worried about anything. I just go and share it as your own, whatever. Just get it out there.
That's right. Yeah.
The ripple effect.
Yeah. It was just a butterfly effect. Everything will affect that one person that watches this video, or 10 people, or 100 people that watch this video, or 10,000 people watch the video. They'll leave this video having an alternative perspective. And then they'll go into their lives, and hopefully they'll benefit their lives in some way, and even if it's a micro way. And they may affect 100 people's lives, and they'll affect 1,000 people's lives, and it will all just snowball into the arm of awakening, which we talked about before. And some people are not here to contribute to the awakening, and some people are here to contribute to the awakening. Some people are here to serve others, and I know you are, and I know I am. This is why we have these dialogues. But some people are not here to do that. And this is interesting, because we live in a world of duality. Some people are light workers, and some people are just here to take care of themselves. Some people are called the service to self. Anyone who's of service to self watching this video will disagree with everything that we're saying, because they only have their own interests at heart. And they could also be really loving, genuine people as well. Because I know really lovely people in London who are amazing. And they think me helping other people is a waste of time. They firmly believe, and they're really lovely people, but they have the belief that let everyone else just take care of themselves. Every man for himself. I'm doing what I got to do, and I've got lots of money and success, and everyone else can just do whatever they want. And that's those types of people. I'm not judging them or saying that they're right or wrong. But what I've found, there are people who want to help others, and there are people who want to help themselves. And they do not, because we live in a world of duality, both of those types of people have to exist in order for this spectrum of experience to play out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, there has to be all, because when the universe was created, infinite possibility was created. So we have to have the Gandhis and the Mother Teresas, and we have to have a Hitler and George Bush. We have to have these two polarities on Earth. We can't just have the positive aspect, because we live in a world of duality. There has to be both.
If the vibration, here's a question which comes to my mind then. So if the vibration of this world is changing and we're moving into vibration of love and joy, will the duality dissolve, and will it just become one?
In a way, yes. If you look at the yin and yang as a perfect symbol of this, during the dark ages, there would have been 80 or 90% worth of black with a little white dot. So the amount of good people there were on Earth would have been very small, but there still would have existed. Okay. Now we're transitioning into Aquarius, which means the white is growing, and the amount of evil is going to be reduced down to a little concentrated dot. There will always be good and evil. There can't all of us be living in a utopian society. There will always be the opposite end of the polarity. And those people, most people will awaken and become light, but the people who are really dark, probably like the Queen level, or the Soros and the JP Morgans and the Rothschilds and the Bush family and all of these people, those types of people will resist the light, but because they're like the highest of the evil, you could say, let's call it that, of the unconsciousness, of the ignorance, they will rather die than be turned to light. Those people would they'd rather set a nuke off and blow up the entire world than lose. Because those people are completely distorted in their illusion, in their evil, in their ignorance.
Interesting.
You couldn't convince them elsewise. You could pin them down, tie them up, and electrocute them to get them, convince them, and they would rather die than convince themselves.
You'd have to use an evil thing on them to convince them, and then they wouldn't convince them.
And they would love it. They would just love it. They'd be like, yeah. So really, just love them.
Yeah, exactly. We need to send love out, like.
And that's part of the Louise Hay thing, like loving your government, loving the bankers, loving the monarchy, sending love to Donald Trump, sending love to Boris Johnson, sending love to Tony Blair. Even though we know these people have had an evil experience, we just send them love. Just send them love. Send love to everyone. Send love to your parents. Send love to the person who bullied you at school. Send love to that person, and just keep sending that vibration out, and you always get it back.
Yeah, so if we can keep doing that, then we can grow that in, and hopefully we can ascend to the new dimensions.
It's coming. I've never felt so energized and so relaxed and calm and purposeful and driven. And
Are you sleeping?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in bed by about 10:30 and I'm up at 6.
My pattern's all over the place. I went to bed at 12 o'clock the other night. I know many people will probably resonate with this. I went to bed at 12. I woke up at 1 o'clock. I was wide awake. And then literally went back 6 o'clock in the morning, still up. I know many people are having really weird dreams at the moment, and they're not sleeping. Loads of people waking up at 3:30 in the morning. And it's all to do with this vibration that's coming through to the earth now. So, it's mad dreams. But some of them.
It's a great time to be alive, man. I think I said to you a couple of weeks ago on the phone that I feel like this period is why we came in. I always wondered, I spent most of my 20s like, what am I meant to be doing? Like, I don't know why. But as soon as the coronavirus hit, I had it dawned on me. Like, I was like, this is why we're here. This is the change. It's like the great change we've been waiting for has finally descended on humanity. And I've done all of this work so I can speak and inspire and love and teach and educate people about how to get through all of those traumas. Because for the last 5 years, all I've been doing is going through trauma. And that's why the starseeds, that's why the people who are awakening super quick, who are teachers, the most important thing is to awaken as quickly as humanly possible, shake off the illusion so you can direct your attention on helping others.
Yeah.
You ain't helping anyone if you're stuck.
No. We need to serve, and we need to do good.
To do good things for humanity. So when we leave, at least we did what we intended to come here to do, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. We've never had a better time. Now an hour and 45. Should we call it a day there? That's a really good night.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's been a really nice chat. It's been a nice flowy conversation. I like it.
Perfect. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you for joining the OVERit podcast. Next episode, next Friday, we'll have a guest on. We'll do a bit more of an interview style. And then Wednesday night as well, we have a new healing circle that we are taking place with every week. So you can come on. It's not recorded because it's a little bit personal. You can come on. Everything's private and confidential. You can come on. You can feel safe. Be part of a community. Have some human interaction. And just if there's anything going through, we'll be there with our other guest host Tejan, who's a master Reiki healer and counselor and everything like that. So we have some really good people that you can talk to and really feel at ease at this time. So if there's anything you want to learn, guys, please get in touch with Chris or myself. I'll put links in the description as well for all of the stuff that we've covered, and go and do your own research and education and love yourself unconditionally. Chris, my brother, It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on again. And
Welcome, man. Thank you for having me. It's just so good to catch up and talk. And
absolutely. Thank you, everyone. We will see you soon.
take it easy.
Sending you divine love.